Here's a small segment from the Pre-Patch Podcast. Enjoy.
Playable games. Their report is that this is coming from Dextaro, by the way, and from what is it, GameDeveloper.com. Basically, are stating and talking about how they are experimenting with allowing instant games within YouTube. So, if you've seen this before, or you've seen this before, Discord has it. A lot of sites have this, where you can basically kind of play games right inside of their browser.
Yeah.
HTML games have been around forever. Like, this is not something new. It's just something new
Right.
coming to Google.
Well,
So,
are these HTML games or are these actual games? That
um,
because
from
the way that I was thinking was like they were going to be repurposing Google Stadia.
I
So
think
if it's
that's
just
the end.
HTML5 games, then
I think that's the end all be all trial for this. Is there
yeah,
because they spent a shit ton of money on Stadia.
it makes sense. Yeah,
Metric
it 100% makes sense. Like they too, the fact the fact that they canceled Stadia was no surprise to literally anyone. If you were surprised that Google Stadia got canceled, I got a boat that I need to sell you because like
You could buy a PlayStation
that
5 for
shit
$1.
that shit was slotted for cancellation the minute it got announced. Like, let's be real here. So yeah, them putting that much like development time and R&D time into Stadia, they 100% need to recoup that price, right?
I mean, I think it's a good way of bolstering
It is
features. I mean,
100%. I'm not saying it's a bad thing,
oh no.
but
I don't think it's going to start off with that. Like, it's going to start with like
yeah,
these arcade games. Brick Breakers is talked out. Breakout is talked out. I think you'll see some HTML5 games, but if I could go in and
are we going back to the days of Newgrounds and shit?
hey man, I miss those days, dude.
Those are great days, man.
I was a mini clip guy myself.
Yeah, let me go to Neopets. Let me go get down on some Neopets.
Oh man, Neopets.
Yep.
What was that one? Adventure Quest, I think was the one that.
Yeah.
The turn-based strategy Adventure Quest. Oh, I love that shit.
Club Penguin, dude. Come on, man.
My big thing with this is if they are planning on repurposing Stadia and stuff, it makes sense why Google was one of the last ones. And I don't think they ever did accept the Microsoft deal with the Xbox Xbox and Blizzard Activision stuff. They were one of the biggest pushbacks against that deal on a cloud-based network. So if they're going to be repurposing Stadia and potentially using YouTube as a platform to push some sort of gaming subscription model, it makes sense.
I think that it's going to be interesting, at least in the space that I've been exploring in my own time, because the moment you start talking WebAssembly, that's when the game changes. That's when you have access to hardware with like JavaScript being compiled down into an assembly code that your browser can interpret. So that changes the game. And this also means you have access to 3D render functions on your graphics card if it exists. Now, if it's a straight streaming service like Stadia was trying to do where they were remote rendering and sending it on, like, yeah, no, that was just never going to work. I've seen so many services, being as old as I am, just fail because latency is the killer. But if they're going to shoot games to your local, I mean, because at that point they could just spec whatever device it is, or if it's your PC, use your PC's hardware to whatever it is you need to do. Instant game, you get the little packet, it does everything in JavaScript, transpiles it over, and all of a sudden you're playing whatever it may be. So it really just depends.
I still think you're going to have an issue with that though, if that's the case, because like you're still going to run into the same issue that you had with like streaming the games over Stadia, right? Like people don't have if you didn't have enough internet connection to stream it, like you're still going to have that same issue of downloading the actual original files to be able to load those, right? It's not going to be as bad as it was, but it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. I know Netflix is still trying to pilot that. And
I completely forgot Netflix was still trying to do games.
No. Well, they're doing it also with like branded content from themselves, like the Stranger Things video game. Like, okay, well, maybe.
I completely forgot about that, man. That's
I think the world forgot about it. I don't think anybody.
I mean, it's just like Stadia. Kind of the world forgot about Stadia too, and that's why it got canceled.
I just said that, and everybody was like, Millie Bobby Brown.
It's good times. Yeah. No, I mean, if it does come to fruition, it just makes sense. Like there's no way that they're gonna have that back end architecture and not use it in some way, shape, or form, right? Like that would just be stupid of them just to completely forget about Stadia.
I think it'd be brilliant for them to offer it kind of, Amazon has their Amazon Prime with Twitch Prime and all this other kind of crap, right? Like think about like if I'm able to have a membership and be like, hey, like for subbing to Bill, I get to have access to be able to play this game or whatever else.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a really dope feature.
Prime has those games available through Prime, which is obviously you're not streaming it, but you're still down. They have the ability to, and they're not like out there games. Some of them are name brand games. We were just barely talking about this, I think last week or the week before that, though. Like if they could do that and lump that in with like a YouTube Prime or a YouTube Red or whatever you want to call it, right? Like a YouTube streaming, and then have that integrated with live streaming to where you got free subscriptions or whatever they call it. What do they call it on YouTube? Is it memberships?
Yeah,
like it's memberships.
Yep.
Yeah. Like free memberships to one free membership a month to your favorite streamer. Like
that needs to happen.
They have to have that. Like it needs to be it needs to be a thing to contend with Twitch and Twitch Prime. Granted, again, Twitch Prime has its own issues, but definitely, I mean, they have to have something in
question about
comparison.
Twitch Prime. Do you think Twitch Prime would actually it would be substantial if it wasn't for it being attached to Amazon Prime? Like, do you think people would actually pay for Twitch Prime on its own?
That's the idea that Amazon is wanting. They're wanting to have Twitch Prime be an incentive for people to get Amazon Prime, because that's the whole point of Twitch.
I had Twitch Prime before Amazon Prime. Yeah,
as one of the
Amazon Prime.
As one of the largest distributors of merchandise on the planet, it would be awesome for them to craft a Twitch box to be sent out to all Prime members, at which point it might be worth it, depending on how much of a nerd you are.
Yeah,
so almost like Loot Crate,
loot boxes or whatever. Yeah.
I'm always intrigued by the thought that like everyone's like, oh, Twitch Prime, but like if it wasn't for Amazon Prime, Twitch Prime I don't think would even be viable, even with the game offerings. I don't think it'd be viable.
I don't think it would be necessarily, but like I do find Twitch Prime to be an extremely nice thing to have.
Right.
I think that they need to
for Twitch.
I think that they need to. Yeah. That's what I was about to say. I think that they need to rework it again. And what's their other one? Twitch Turbo. I think is what it's called. Yeah. There is no fucking reason why they should have pulled Twitch Turbo from Prime. Like they split those two up to give you the ability to purchase Twitch Turbo to basically skip the ads and everything like that. But they stripped that out of Prime. So
I mean, in my mind, I think they should give it
kind of like hamstrung Prime.
I think they should give Turbo. I think they should take Prime away from Amazon Prime and put that into. I know. Yeah. It's saying that we're going to give them more money, but like. You want to make Twitch Turbo more like popular?
100%. Yeah.
Put Prime.
That's what I was just saying. It's like they should have never stripped that from Prime. Like and if they were going to strip that from Prime, then they should have stripped the better parts of Prime away and put them in Turbo. Because right now, legitimately, the only reason why you would purchase Twitch Turbo would be to skip advertisements on Twitch, which is a requirement nowadays with 170 fucking 2-second ad breaks.
Yep.
But like, I don't know.
Well, there you go.
My opinion. Thank you for checking out the patch notes. If you enjoyed this small selection from our podcast, come join us every Thursday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for the full unfiltered pre-patch podcast. And check out our past shows on anchor.fm/prepatch podcast.